Coach is ready. And let's just give her one more big round of applause. Every time we go that.
All right, Coach. Well, just to get us started, can you just tell us a little bit about why you were interested in pursuing this job for Langston University?
There's several reasons I wanted to choose this job. One is because it's affiliation with the NAIA. I played for 2 NAIA championships and lost it by 1 point as a player, and it gives me the opportunity to chase that dream again. Two, I'm just elated to be a part of an HBCU and their mission and their drive to help kids. Basketball is a vessel to me. It's a vessel to help kids learn good habits that's going to carry over into the rest of their lives. So I'm just excited to be a part of that and to be with a great leadership group here with A.D. Rogers and our president. So there's a lot of reasons, but more than anything, I'm excited to chase this NAIA championship again and just to build up the players at this level. I'm one of the few NAIA players that got drafted into the WNBA, and that's a dream of everybody who plays this sport, and to give them options and opportunities to carry on their careers afterwards.
Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about your coaching philosophy?
My coaching philosophy is simple. It's built around grit. I think that grit is one of the things that separates everyone, and it's something that you need to be successful in life, regardless of whether you're a basketball player or whether you're a banker or whether you're a president. When things get hard, I think grit is what carries you through. I think that's one of the staple points that you will see from my teams, the teams that I build. And when you walk away from watching them play, you'll realize that they play with a lot of grit, and we will play to the buzzer sounds.
Awesome. So what have you seen from Langston University's administration and leadership that gives you confidence in your ability to go far with the program?
This has been a good program way before me. The previous coach has done a great job, and I just think that I'm expounding and building on that. And I think that my connections to basketball will help me bring in the type of players that really give us a really good chance of not just getting to nationals, but having the opportunity to get into the finals. And once you get there, I think it's anybody's game. You have the opportunities.
Yeah. So what would you say are some of your short-term and long-term objectives for the program?
Long-term objectives is to build a long-term program that people want to be a part of. That people come, when they see Langston and they see our name, I want players to want to be a part of this organization, to want to be a part of this campus and community. And I think that winning is the way that you build that. Everybody wants to be a part of a winning program, and it doesn't matter what level you are at that point. Everybody wants to be a part of a winner. That is my long-term goal. And another long-term goal is I want to have above a 95% graduation rate. Basketball is a building block. It's a tool to me that you use to help kids go farther in life and not just on the basketball court.
Yeah. So you touched on that a little bit as far as having that 95% graduation rate, but what is your hope that people will say about players who have come through your program?
I want people to say that they're organized, they're respectful, and I want people to want to hire our players because of how they carry themselves. There's a right way and a wrong way to play a game. I mean, the example that I feel like me and my coaching staff's going to set for our players, I want that to trickle down. And knowing that everything is not easy in life, but how you show up and consistently show up as yourself, that's what I want to teach our girls. Like, through the ups and downs, teach them how to be who they are, regardless of how high they are or how low they
are. Ms. Jackson, you can go ahead because I have some questions for you too. But Coach Robinson,
yes,
Torrey Purvey alumni. I just want to make sure I'm talking to the right person, and so just let me know it. Correct me, stop me at any time. Then I'm just in case if I'm wrong. While in college, you were a first team All-American for 3 years, 94, 95, 96. You led the nation in scoring and received Player of the Year. You dropped a pair of one-point decisions in back-to-back championship games. Your school had your jersey retired so that no other female player can wear that number again, ever. While coaching, you helped propel the Phoenix Mercury to their winning percentage, which is double the previous season. As Satellite Storm, your final record was 26-8, which had them the #1 seed for playoffs, and you guys won the championship that year. Stop me anytime I'm wrong. You're also no stranger to college sports either. While at TCU, you helped the team secure third place, finish in the Big 12 conference standings. At Utah State, you had your team also finish in the top 10 of their conference. Your coaching high school, your team won 5A state championship, and they haven't won it again since. And you have a credible storyline. You've seen the game at its absolute highest level as both player and a coach, and you bring a level of instant credibility to new recruits. And that very few recruiters and tacticians can match. So, and speaking of recruitment, when you look at a potential recruit or transfers, what is the one non-negotiable that you look for that tells you this player has what it takes?
I think the way they play the game, I'd say I want players that understand that you don't achieve high things without putting the work behind it. And I think that all my players, you'll see me put a product on the court that's exciting, that's fun to watch, that competes at the highest level. So that's a staple point of what I'll be looking for is super competitors.
Okay, this question is for Coach Rogers. Congratulations and thank you for grabbing this first round draft pick to come to Langston University. You went deep in your bag for this one. In regards to strategic vision and high profile hire with WNBA pedigree, that's a statement piece for the university. It impacts the recruiting, ticket sales, donor engagement, and the school's national brand. Every program is in a different phase. Some needs a builder, some needs a stabilizer, and some needs a finisher. What's the specific mandate that you've given her for her first year or two?
I tell you what, that's a great question. I really believe that we're on that finishing stage. We've been so close. We see the banners that are in the gym. One of the things that really caught my ear when we were interviewing Coach Robinson was just her discussion and her passion. And as all great players remember, you can remember everything about those games, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you can think about maybe one or two more plays or possessions that might have made the difference where she would have the opportunity to bring that red banner home. And she's still passionate, a couple of decades later about getting back to the national tournament. Not only that, but getting back to that final game. And that's a big piece of our scorecard. She did not back down on saying that this is not something that I want to build and try to do in 2 to 3 years, but I want to be ready now, ready this year. And so we're going to be supporting her, rooting her along. I feel like she definitely has the blueprint for that. She knows what it felt like as a player. She's been in those high-pressure situations as a coach, and I think she's the right one to lead us to that red banner.
Thank you. President Jackson, when you interview for a coaching hire, I've noticed that you always pivot away from the X's and O's of sports, and you look at the macro level impact of the institution. It's often said that athletics is the front porch of a university. What they see. During your conversations with Coach, what gave you the confidence that her values and leadership style align with the mission and the character of Langston University?
Thank you for that question. So you're right. I leave the X's and O's to the experts, and we're fortunate enough to have an athletic director who not only knows the X's and O's, she's lived the X's and O's. What I'm always looking for is mission match. Simple. Is this a person who understands, respects, and can advance the mission of Langston University? And after the first conversation, it was very clear that we found that in Coach Robinson. Coach Robinson understands what it means to be a winner. She has lived that at all levels. Coach Robinson understands that Langston University holds a very special place in history, a very special place in the state of Oklahoma. And it doesn't hurt that she's an Oklahoman.
Yeah.
And we are so excited to welcome her home to Oklahoma. Langston University has a storied past and really an unlimited future. And Coach Robinson is the perfect complement to who we are, who we have been historically, and where we see our institution going.
Okay, I have another question for you, Madam President. Securing a coach of this caliber requires a significant institutional commitment. How do you define successful as far as return of investment in terms of, in her hire, not just in terms of wins and losses, but as far as community impact, mentorship, and campus unity?
Sure. That's a part of any position here at Langston University. You can ask any one of our coaches and any one of our members of the community as a whole. It doesn't do us any good to be the best kept secret in Oklahoma. Our goal is for people to understand who we are as an institution, to know that our students come with gifts and talents that we cultivate and build upon and then send back out into the world. And so athletics being the front porch of an institution, successful programs get national attention. The institution sees additional student recruitment as a result of that. We see additional donors who believe in what we're doing and who decide to invest their resources into the programs and into the larger university.
Coach Robinson, the pro game relies heavily on spacing, analytics, specific pick and roll coverages. How much of your WNBA experience and philosophy are you planning to adapt to the college floor?
I plan to use a lot of my WNBA experience, but probably more so. I learned more as a coach coaching 4th and 5th and 6th graders. It teaches you how to communicate better. And that is the area of my coaching that I feel like I will go to the most. I think when you're building a good team, communication is one of the biggest keys to being great. And not just me communicating with them, how they communicate with each other. The X's and O's of it will be the easy part, putting the product on the floor. But your teams rise and fall based on how unified they are and how well they communicate together. So I probably will be reverting back to some of my 4th, 5th, and 6th grade teaching more so than the WNBA. They're two different things, but that's where I plan on building that.
Okay, everyone knows that you've been in Boston, with, doing individual development, for players and things like that. So how would you bring that individual development culture to Langston?
Well, that's a big part of it. I think when you're coaching at the NCAA Division II and the NAIA level, you tend to get players that have these great games that's just not overly complete. And that's our job, is to help them become more complete players and polish them up. And by the time they're juniors and seniors, you see a finished product that they have worked for and that we have worked for. It will be the lifeblood. Recruiting and player development will be the lifeblood of our program, because we want our players to get better every single year.
Coach Rogers, I have one more question for you. Was there a specific moment or answer or vision that the coach shared during the interview process that you sat back and thought, this is our new coach?
Well, most definitely. Again, I've known about Crystal and her game and ability to play for many, many years. I will say, too, that she's one of only 7 women in the Oklahoma Jim Thorpe Hall of Fame, the only African-American woman. She's in part of 4 Hall of Fames. And I think the biggest thing was just finding out, all right, Coach Robinson, why Langston? Why would you want to coach here? I'm unable to meet or match some of the other salaries that you have not only made, but will be offered. And she said at one point that it was about coming home, and it was about finishing her legacy, here. And I think that's very, very important, and that really resonated with me. And then even when we've been talking through this whole process, she's always 4 or 5 steps ahead. You know, she's already thinking about what it looks like on her coaching staff. She's already got players that are scheduled. She's already penciled in. I need my first recruiting visit next weekend, next Friday. And so, like, she's always a step ahead. And so I can tell that we're going to share a lot of text messages because I know sooner get one answered and she's got 3 more as she continues to plan in her head. So I know that she's going through a busy time. It's probably hard to rest and sleep at night. I would give her the advice that she probably needs to have a notebook or something by her bed to put all those ideas in. But like, she's dreaming. She's putting all the pieces in place for her to have that opportunity to take our program to the national tournament and bring back that red banner. And I know that if we fall short, it will not be from lack of planning or effort.
All right. Ms. Jackson, President. College athletics as a whole is undergoing a seismic structural shift right now with revenue sharing, NIL, and conference realignments. You know, this is all colleges. From a presidential perspective, why is she the right leader to guide this program through such a turbulent and transformative era in higher education?
So as a member of the Council of Presidents for the Student Athletic Conference, that's something that we talk about often. These are shifts, some expected, some not expected. But as A.D. Rogers mentioned, these are things that Coach Robinson has been thinking about and already has some ideas. Small college athletics is not easy. It's not well-resourced, and that's not unique to Langston University. But we've also extended a commitment to our athletic program, a desire to continue to invest, not at the level that I'm sure any coach here would say we need more. But what I think Coach Robinson is joining is a group of individuals who are committed to their sport, and more importantly, committed to the student athletes who've chosen to compete here at Langston University. And so in some ways, we're figuring that out together. We're fortunate to have some members of our supporters of various teams and programs who understand that it won't be institutional dollars that continue to make us competitive, and they've made the decision to support with their individual funds. Langston University has been having conversations as far as 5 years back about NIL and what it means right now in NCAA and what that impact means at programs like ours. And so we have donors who, have started to make investments to support our NIL fund. And so, I'm not going to say that we're cutting edge and we're leading the way among NAIA programs, but we're certainly keeping it top of mind and helping to communicate with our donors what that needs to look like in the various ways that we'll have to support it.
Coach Robinson, when people look at your program 3 to 5 years from now, what do you want the defining characteristics about your tenure to look like?
I think I want it to look like they gave their all. When we show up, you get the best of us. The ball doesn't always fall, but you'll get the best of us. I want that to precede us. I want when people think, oh man, we're about to play Langston, they know they got to lace them up and they're going to have to bring their best to beat us. Because every single night we're going to bring our best. We're going to control the controllables. And playing hard is one of those things. Rebounding is one of those controllables. We're going to do the little things that give other teams headaches.
All right, it sounds like you have a great philosophy for on the court, but you aren't just preparing these women for basketball, but for a life after the ball stops bouncing. What does success look like for you off the court for your players?
Off the court for my players, success looks like having good grades. Success looks like building good habits. I think that in college, that's one of the biggest things that you have to teach kids is how to build good habits to get everything done that they need to get done. Success off the court for me is probably more important than success on the court. And like they go hand in hand, but I don't see you being great at basketball and not great in the classroom. When you're great at everything. And that's the thing that I want to teach my players is that if you want to put yourself in the great category, you figure out a way to be your best self at every single thing you do. They're not going to take shortcuts in class. They're not going to take shortcuts in how they interact with people. That's really, really important to me.
What would you like to tell alumni that aren't here, that haven't had the opportunity to meet you or know you? What would you like to tell
One,
them?
my office door is always open. I would love to get to meet them and get to know them. Two, I just think that they'll be proud of the product, the finished product that we end up putting on the floor. We want to represent Langston. We want to give people a reason to wear their Langston University gear everywhere they go. Like I said, we're going to garner some national attention. I think that I can compete with anybody in the state, from UCO to OCU to Southern Nazarene. I think that we have all of the great building blocks here to be one of those key names here. And you hear about OU and OSU. I want Langston to be the third name that people talk about.
Any other questions? We haven't done this before, but I see Coach Hilliard smiling over there. Does any of my coaching staff have some, I know you'll lighten the mood, Coach Hilliard. Any of you guys have a question you want to ask for your newbie on the third floor? Okay. Coach Conkey, go ahead.
How's it going? I'm Coach Conkey. I'm the new men's basketball coach. Very excited.
Very nice.
And impressed just from everything you're saying. Excited to work with you as well. Just schematically, what would you, obviously grit, is bigger than X's and O's, but in terms of the X's and O's, you're going to play fast, you're going to be set-oriented, you're going to press, you're going to play zone,
Yeah, we're going to do a little bit of everything. I'm a Zoom person. I like to run a lot of Zoom handoff action, but I'm a strategic person as well. I'm not overly great at zones. I don't like them personally, but they do serve their purpose. So they'll see a fast team. We want to score fast. We'll shoot a lot of threes, but we're going to make a lot of threes. We ain't just going to shoot them to take them. We're going to make a lot of threes. But you'll see us run a lot of Zoom stuff, a lot of drive and kick. I'm a big believer in shared basketball. Share the responsibility so no one has one or two single people have to bear the burden. So you'll see us play a lot of a good team basketball, but it'll be a lot of sharing going on out there. And I'm really big on my players playing for their teammates. We don't play for ourselves, we play for each other. And I think that great things happen when you can convince your players to play like that.
Coach?
Yes.
I'm one of the few that out the SID when you were playing.
Okay.
I remember some of the things you did to us. Around the district. But that grit, I have a thing on the third floor. If you're on the third floor, you got to be tough. Yeah. And I'm glad to have that grit up there on that third floor. I'm not worried about it. I don't have a doubt about it. Because I've seen you from high school all the way up. So it's a pleasure to have you.
Well, thank you very much. I've been fortunate enough to either play for or win a championship everywhere I've been. The only place is the NCAA because I didn't compete there. But I just look forward to bringing that here to Langston. This is a great place. And I sit between two leaders here that I have the opportunity to learn more as a person and grow from. And that's something that I try to do, is surround myself with people that's better than me. And that way you have all your bases covered. And I'm just excited to be a part of this organization and put a product on the floor that everyone will be proud of.
Exciting offense or strong defense, and why?
Strong defense. I love exciting offense, but in my opinion, defense wins championships. Defense is something that you can control. You can control how hard you can play. I can control how I scheme. You have nights when the ball doesn't go in, but your defense has to be consistent and staple point. If it's not, it's real hard to win basketball games if your defense isn't consistent.
Okay, 2-point game. Would you rather be down by 2 points or up by 2 points with 3 seconds left?
It doesn't matter. I can be down or up. I'm really big on, I spend a lot of time in my practices working on late game situations. And I think in the last 5 minutes, the last 3 minutes, the team who is more comfortable and who's going to run their stuff better is going to win those games. And as a player, I always felt comfortable down 5 or up 5. To me is hard. You got to hold on to that. But if I'm down 5, I really do feel confident that we're going to have lots of opportunities to win. I like my abilities with the pen and the board.
Are there any questions? All right, we're going to take a ton of photos over here. We hope you guys will kind of stick around a little bit, have the opportunity to meet Coach, maybe take a picture with her, and then please help yourself to some refreshments. And again, I hope you guys are looking forward to this next season as we have 3 programs that will be taking on new leadership. And I think it's going to be an exciting time for Langston University Athletics. Thank you again for coming.